Fu's Chuan, the Prince of Beijing, finally got what he wanted after years of pursuing love. I had just finished my last tour and walked out of the theater with my goose egg on my back. Reporters flocked to congratulate me on marrying a good man. I looked directly at the camera and responded generously, the love that Mr. Fu has hidden in his heart for many years is not me. I wish Mr. Fu and Mrs. Fu a happy marriage. The man of the Fu family looked at the interview with red eyes, stood up and left, leaving only a broken mobile phone and bloodstains. The main text begins. The first tour after becoming the chief is very important to me. For this tour, I took out the goose egg passed down by my father and used the songs my father had written just to fulfill my father's last wish. Before that, I had a quarrel with Fu's Chuan, but I was in a hurry to perform and didn't have time to give in to him. After the last performance, I took out my mobile phone, and before I opened the chat software, messages began to pour in. Ah King, do you know that Fu's Chuan finally got engaged to Chuyu? Ah King, Chuyu has sent it. He said he succeeded in pursuing love. King Wan, did you and Chuan finally break up? Looking at the phone, I pressed my brows tiredly. I have been very busy recently and have no time to comfort Fu's Chuan, who has a childish temper. Usually, I took the initiative to give in, but I didn't expect that he would go directly to his white moonlight Chuyu. The unequal relationship has made me physically and mentally exhausted. I stared at the message on the phone, not knowing how to reply for a while. At this time, the assistant walked in. Zhangji, there are a lot of reporters outside, all here to interview her. Do you want to go out? I got up reluctantly, and the reporters surrounded me. I heard that Mr. Fu's proposal was successful. Congratulations to Miss Zhang for getting what she wanted. Mr. Fu and Miss Zhang have been a perfect match for many years. I wonder when we can have their wedding wine. I didn't look happy at all. I took the microphone handed over by the reporter and said seriously, Mr. Fu, the love that has been hidden in your heart for many years is not me. I wish Mr. Fu and Mrs. Fu a happy marriage. In the old house of the Fu family in the suburbs of Beijing, my parents were talking happily with Chuyu, and Fu's Chuan was sitting aside playing with his mobile phone impatiently. When he heard my last sentences of the interview, the man's eyes were wide. He stood up and left, leaving only a broken mobile phone and bloodstains. The parents looked at their son's wound with concern. Chuyu stood up and shouted, "Call the doctor quickly, deal with it quickly." Fu's Chuan seemed very indifferent and turned around and went upstairs. Chuyu stood up and chased him. "Brother Chuan, your hand is so injured. Why don't you treat it?" Fu's Chuan waved his hand impatiently. "Don't worry about me. Don't come up without my permission." Chuyu was unwilling to chase him again, but his parents held him back. "Forget it. Give him some time to think." Fu's Chuan stared at the dialogue box with me in a daze. There was no message for so many days, and the last message was sent by him. "Since you think your career is more important than being with me, let's break up." Fu's Chuan loosened his tightly clenched left hand. There was an exquisite ring. He took it off expressionlessly, threw it into the trash can, and sent a message to the familiar dialogue box. "Do you still want to go on stage again?" After announcing the peaceful breakup with Fu's Chuan, I seemed to have ushered in Mercury retrograde. The landlord, who had previously agreed to rent to me, suddenly broke the contract and said that he would no longer rent to me. I had no choice but to move around and finally found a very small single room in a remote village in the city. To make matters worse, my work at the art troupe was suspended indefinitely. Although I had become the head of the art troupe, I was not on the performance list every time. The leader of the art troupe came to talk to me privately. "King Wan, it's not that we don't want to use you, but our art troupe has to make money after all, and we can't cut off our own financial resources. Think carefully. Have you offended anyone recently?" Who else could it be? I stared at the message sent by Fu's Chuan, wishing I could eat him alive. "If you want to continue playing the piano, come to King Zhang Club and surrender." When I rushed to King Zhang Club, I heard him and his group of friends chatting at the door, and the door of the box was ajar. Fu's Chuan raised his glass nonchalantly. "Zhang King Wan, that's the canary I raised. It can't live without me." "Brother Fu, this woman obviously thinks the money is not enough. Give him face." Fu Zhechuan frowned. I'm not tired of playing with this canary yet. If he is obedient, I don't mind keeping him forever. Fu Zhechuan raised his head and drank a glass of wine. His expression was indifferent, and no emotion could be seen. I finally couldn't help but push the door open. He looked up and saw that it was me. The corners of his mouth raised an inexplicable arc as if smiling. I looked pale and my voice trembled. It's just a breakup. Do you have to destroy me? Fuz Achuan stood up, walked to me, and stroked my cheek with his right hand like a venomous snake. It's obviously you who destroyed you. It's you who insisted on ruining your future. Fuz Achuan turned back to the main seat and sat down. Even if we break up, I should have proposed it first. Who gave you the courage to go against me? I took a deep breath and turned away. You're dreaming. Although the art troupe didn't have any performance opportunities for me, I still persisted in going there to punch in every day. The one who took my place was Jian He, the pipa player who had always been at odds with me. When I was practicing the piano backstage, I saw Fuz Achuan waiting behind me. After the performance, Jian He ran off the stage quickly and took Fuz Achuan's hand. Fuz Achuan lowered his head smiling and whispered something to her. Although Jian He looked depressed for a moment, he still let go of his hand. Fuz Achuan walked up to me, smiling. See? Do you still want to get angry with me now? If I want, I can make you unable to get ahead in this life, and you will never achieve your so-called dream. But if you regret it now, I can immediately make him disappear from this art troupe. After all, you are still different. What if I say I don't regret it? I, Zhang Pingwan, will never be a mistress in this life. Fuz Achuan seemed to have heard something very funny. You are a woman from the countryside, and you actually want to be Mrs. Fu? A king, don't be so naive. Either be my lover or lose everything. You have no other choice. Fu Zhechuan's eyes were mocking. I'll give you another day. After Fu Zhechuan finished speaking, he took Jian He and walked away. When I was in school, any rich second generation could buy my life, not to mention that he was the prince of the Beijing circle. I returned to the backstage piano room in a daze, looking at the goose egg passed down by my father that could only be placed in the corner. When I was in school, those second-generation rich people despised my dullness. In order to make me submit, they agreed to be one of their girlfriends and locked me in the piano room for a whole night. It was Fuz Achuan who stepped forward and rescued me from the piano room so that they dared not bully me again. After following him for so many years, I really wanted to marry him. My many attempts were only perfunctory and evasive, and I roughly understood his attitude. I am of lowest Addisondom worthy of being his wife. Even if he hadn't revealed the successful proposal, I would still break up with him. But he is a child spoiled by his family. Unless he hates it, he can't allow anything to leave him. Knowing that I was bullied, he still chose to use violence and oppression to force me to change my mind. But he forgot that Zhang Pingwan, who climbed out of the abyss, was definitely not a weak cattle. Music is my life, and what I inherited from my father must never be broken with me. The extremely depressed situation stimulated my desire to create. Lu Qingshan had been standing outside the piano room for a long time. He hadn't heard such a soul-touching melody for a long time. It was hard to imagine that the decadent and desperate piano music was played by that energetic girl. After a long time, the music gradually stopped, but a low sob was heard. I was crying on the piano with tears in my eyes. In my blurred eyes, I saw a familiar face, Mr. Liu family and the Fu family are both top wealthy families in Beijing, but the Liu family and the Fu family have been at odds because of competition in their early years. And Liu Qingshan and Fuz Achuan look down on each other. Unlike Fuz Achuan, Liu Qingshan is more cold-hearted. There has never been a woman around him. People in the circle are guessing what kind of person can take down someone like Liu Qingshan. Liu Qingshan took out a tissue from his pocket and handed it to me with his slender fingers. What happened? Why are you crying so miserably? In a trance, an idea suddenly appeared in my mind. Since Fuz Achuan can't do it, what about Liu Qingshan? As long as I get close to him, Fuz Achuan will definitely not dare to touch me again. Besides, Liu Qingshan is my fan of piano, so I will definitely be able to win him over, right? But this thought only flashed through my mind for a moment. Will he make an enemy of Fuz Achuan for his former lover? No. but I have no other choice but to try my best. I, I didn't take the tissue, but just let my tears fall drop by drop. Lu Qingshan asked helplessly again. Did you have a fight with Fu Zhechuan? No, we broke up. Liu Qingshan's expression moved slightly, but he didn't show anything on the surface. He just looked at me steadily. Where do you live? Come on, I'll take you home. I didn't move, but I didn't refuse. Tell me your home address. I told the address of the village in the city. Liu Qingshan raised his eyebrows slightly, looking shocked. The public security there is very chaotic. The landlord kicked me out of the house I rented before, so I can only rent a house like this. Liu Qingshan looked at me with a distressed face. It's so late today. Can you go back safely? Girls are out alone. Take care to protect yourself. Well, I have a house nearby. Why don't you stay there for a few days as a transition? It won't be too much trouble for you, will it? I looked at him hesitantly. There were not many people on the street late at night, and the lights were dim. Liu Qingshan's profile looked unusually handsome, like a knife. The house is a little shabby. Please don't mind it. How could that be? I'm already very grateful for having a place to live so close to you. It's just a small favor, nothing to mention. As long as Miss Zhang doesn't mind it, that's all. Sitting on the sofa in the living room, I suddenly saw a Weibo post by Jian He. The picture was an exquisite flower basket, and the text was even more pointed. Although rehearsals are tiring, it feels good to have someone thinking of me. The performance tomorrow will definitely go smoothly. Thank you, dear, for sending the flower basket in advance. Although there was no signature, I knew who sent it by looking at the familiar star and color scheme. Something in my heart was slowly fermenting and spreading. I turned around and asked Liu Qingshan awkwardly, Mr. Liu, are you going to stay tonight? When a woman invites a man, the direction is already very obvious. Liu Qingshan said, I'm leaving first. You have a good rest. I knew he was refusing, and watching his back as he left, I secretly despised myself. But I couldn't let it go. I took a selfie in the room, deliberately showing the Liu family crest on the wall, opened my moments, randomly put together a few landscape photos, and posted a night square grid. I can be popular even without a man. As soon as I finished posting the entire moments, it exploded. Friends in the circle recognized it at a glance. It was the Liu family crest. Some people even judged that this was the location of Liu Qingshan's property through the information in the picture. Sister, how did you get to know this king of hell? Peep Itchu should also find a suitable one for you. You are so bold to pick the devil. This was posted by Ji and He. I have checked it. This picture is not photoshopped. The scenery is beautiful and the person is even more beautiful. It suits you very well. Only Fu Zhechuan did not react at all, as if he didn't care at all. Things started to develop in a direction I didn't expect. My impulse actually caused a commotion in the circle. I really felt sorry for Liu Qingshan. After struggling for a long time, I decided to send him a WeChat message. I'm sorry, did I cause you any trouble? But a voice came from the other end, and a deep voice came through the headset. It's okay, no trouble. I thought he would be angry and upset, but I didn't expect him to react so calmly. Could it be that Liu Qingshan was interested in me? I doubted it in my heart, but I denied this idea. If he liked me, he would not be so polite in his own house, or even just walked away. The next morning, I woke up and saw that my phone was full of messages, especially Fu's Chuan. He was almost like he had eaten dynamite, bombarding me nonstop, calling one after another. After I finished reading the messages, the phone rang again. Jiang Qingwan, how dare you provoke him? Come back when the trouble is almost over. I'll give you a way out and forgive you. As long as you are willing to come back, I promise that you will still be the chief. I was almost laughed at by him. Fu Zhechuan, you know in your heart that I am not that kind of person. You have never understood me. I don't need your charity. Do you think Liu Qingshan is sincere? We have broken up. My affairs have nothing to do with you. Zhang Qingwan, you wait. Fu Zhechuan acted quickly. Almost as soon as he hung up the phone, the leader of the art troupe sent me a message asking me to resign voluntarily. I packed up my things and walked to the art troupe. The leader looked at me with a little pity. Are you really not going to give in? You are the most talented and gifted I have ever seen. Thank you for your concern, but I will never regret the things I've decided. Xiaozhang, you have to think clearly. If you leave here today, no one in Beijing will take you in Taro. But I quickly signed my name and completed the resignation procedures. When I went backstage to pack up, John, he was rehearsing with other performers. I looked nostalgic. If it weren't for Fu's Chuan, I would be with them now. My dream would have to be interrupted. When I was packing up backstage, I finally couldn't hold it back. I squatted down against the wall and cried in the backstage. I started learning music when I was young. During my 4 years in college, I walked out of the dark bullying. I worked hard and finally got admitted to the best art troupe in the country. In 1 year, I became the ace leader of the art troupe. Just because of his words, my 20 years of hard work look like a joke. There is no doubt that the art troupe in Beijing is always the best, but I am not without a way out. After crying, I carried my goose egg on my back and waited for a car to go back. A car suddenly stopped by the roadside, and the window rolled down. It was Lu Qingshan's handsome face. It seems that I always see you crying. Through the reflection of the car window, I saw my current appearance, with tears in my eyes, messy hair, and the whole person looked messy and decadent. Get in the car first. I don't want you to care about me. Who are you to me? Why you care about me? You rich people never care about other people's lives. I was emotional again, turned my back and cried. In a trance, I heard a low sigh, Jiang Pingwan. I really want to have an identity that can care about you. If you don't accept it, I am also your loyal listener. Hearing this, I was stunned for a long time. He actually liked me. Now you're a loyal listener, can I invite you to go home with me? I burst into laughter. Lu Qingshan took me back to the house, and the aunt had already prepared dinner at home. Halfway through the meal, he asked his assistant to take out a few thick materials. Because of the professionalism problem in Beijing, there is no way for the Beijing art troupe. My eyes dimmed for a moment, and he seemed to see that I was disappointed and smiled slightly. But the best music troupe in China is not in Beijing, but in Shanghai. He handed me the stack of materials with encouragement in his eyes. Take a look at this. I helped you contact the Shanghai art troupe for an interview. My eyes sparkled, as if something was breaking out of the ground. I tightly grasped the paper, and my father's words seemed to echo in my ears again. Of course, I won't give you a back door. Everything depends on your own efforts. I don't need it. I just need a chance. I can do my best. I spoke very quickly. My eyes were clear, and I was full of hope for the future. Lu Qingshan looked at my expression changing rapidly and couldn't help laughing. Okay, I believe you. I am confident in your ability. For the performance of the Shanghai art troupe, I practiced the piano like an ascetic monk. Except for eating and sleeping, I stayed in the art troupe almost all day. Because I joined the group midway, I had very little time to adjust to the new environment. Although I said I was confident, I was still a little scared inside because I was the one who failed to be selected that year. In order to take the exam, I dug out my father's manuscript from that year. At 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, I was still practicing in the piano room, and Lu Qingshan stood at the door and looked at me quietly. I was immersed in my own music and didn't notice him. When the piano sound was intermittent, he raised his hands and clapped and walked in to persuade me. Wan, it's too late. Take a break. If you really can't, continue tomorrow. When I followed Fu's Chuan, he never waited for me to practice the piano and even got angry with me because I ignored him when I practiced the piano and asked me to stop working. Now that I think about it, he has long wanted me to be at ease as his little bird raised outside. Lu Qingshan raised his eyes and looked at me seriously. For this exam, you have to practice for so long. It must be very hard to learn the piano, right? The pain in his eyes was obvious, and I almost indulged in that look. I slightly turned my eyes away with an unnatural blush on my face. You, please don't look at me like that, okay? Lu Qingshan smiled slightly. His handsome eyebrows drooped, gently stretched out his hands to hold me in his arms, and comforted me softly. You have worked hard for so many years. I have always been a strong person who is not afraid of any problems, but when I heard his comfort, I still couldn't help it, threw myself into his arms and cried loudly. He didn't say anything, as if he knew this scene would happen in advance, patted my back gently, and called my name softly. My emotions slowly stabilized. Tears still hung on my eyelashes, and I couldn't speak clearly, hanging on him, whispering to him, "Why don't you stay with me today?" Lu Qingshan's eyes suddenly became dangerous, and his hands holding me tightened. "Are you sure you want me to stay? Do you know what you are inviting?" Although there were still tears in my eyes, I smiled mischievously. "I'm waiting for you. Do you want to try the hand of a music student?" Lu Qingshan couldn't help it and directly picked me up horizontally. After a long time, Lu Qingshan carried me out of the piano room easily. I nestled in his arms, my face rosy and my eyes full of spring. "Who said you don't have worldly wishes?" "I'm almost dying of exhaustion." "That's because you're tooting." Lu Qingshan held me and laughed happily. When I got home, I lay on his legs and asked him seriously. My hints that night were obvious. "Why do you seem to have no reaction? Don't you like me that much?" Lu Qingshan looked serious, picked me up from his legs, faced me, and looked serious. "Because I don't think you are a canary nor a little wife. In my eyes, you have your own thoughts and your own persistence." After hearing these words, my heart was warm, as if someone really understood me. I turned around. My eyes were clear and bright. "Then you also promise me that if you are going to get engaged or have a family marriage in the future, you must tell me. I will take the initiative to leave, and I will never do three things." Seeing Lu Qingshan's solemn face and deep thought, I was a little flustered. Could he be the same kind of person as Fu Zhechuan? But he seemed to be really different. "Don't worry, I will definitely promise." Although I seemed to have heard the answer I wanted, I felt a little disappointed in my heart. I didn't think much about it. I still pestered him today. After all, I had to take the exam in 2 days. I dragged Lu Qingshan to the middle of the night, and finally I was exhausted and fell asleep. Lu Qingshan hugged me, but what he recalled in his mind was the scene of our first meeting. At that time, I was still with Fu Zhechuan, like a little deer who didn't know the world, and he was moved almost instantly. Although he had always been at odds with Fu Zhechuan since childhood, his family education since childhood did not allow him to do such a thing. So when he heard the word breakup, he was so happy in his heart. He tried his best, although these methods were not glorious enough, but he pried open my heart step by step. Fortunately, these efforts were not in vain. Lu Qingshan looked at the peaceful sleeping face in his arms, and the corners of his mouth rose. Finally, the day of the assessment arrived. Lu Qingshan took me to Shanghai a day in advance. For this assessment, I took out my own original music. Although there was only a solo piece this time, the fighting meaning of this piece was enough to support the scene. Although it was my own original work, I have never been able to play the kind of passionate spirit of war, but this time it seems different. I seem to understand the feeling of fighting alone. Sure enough, this time it was a real extraordinary performance. After the song ended, the teacher had tears in his eyes. Looking at the attitude of other students in the audience, I knew I succeeded. When I received the applause from other teachers and the notification of being selected, I burst into tears at that moment. Standing in the Shanghai art troupe, watching other performers coming and going, I finally realized my dream when I was young, and I did not disappoint my father's expectations back then. In the summer in Shanghai, the sun is scorching, and the scorching sun seems to burn everything. Jiang Qingwan, who once lost both her parents and was in darkness. Jiang Qingwan, who was once suppressed because of her beautiful appearance, but was unwilling to commit herself to the powerful Jiang Qingwan, who almost ended her life because of self-doubt due to the bottleneck period and endless suppression. Jiang Qingwan, who once almost lost everything and had only a family inherited Guzheng, all disappeared in the wind with this letter of appointment. Fortunately, there is music in love. I didn't wait long at the door, and Lu Qingshan came to pick me up. He didn't ask me the result, but gently took the guzheng on my back. "You must be very tired today. Let's go. I'll take you to eat delicious food." I gently took his hand. Lu Qingshan handed the guzheng to the assistant. "Keep it well. This is the thing my wife eats with. This is the highest place in Shanghai, and you can see the night view from the seat by the window. Come on, this is a celebration for you." I didn't even tell him whether I was chosen or not. "How did you know?" "Just look at your expression. You can't hide anything at all. You can't see this excited expression?" I smiled shyly. Is it really that hard to hide anything? He carefully arranged everything for me, and I just had to sit there and The top floor box is very private. Looking at the bright night view from the window, I felt a strange sense of unreality. It's not like I haven't had dinner with Fuz Chuan under this night view before, but Fuz Chuan has a temper like a young master, so I have always been the only one to serve the young master. While I was thinking, the waiter suddenly knocked on the door and came in. Mr. Liu, a man who claims to be the boyfriend of this lady, is at the door and wants to come in, and he can't be stopped from outside. I felt nervous. I have been living a comfortable life for too long recently, and I have forgotten about this crazy person in the Beijing circle. I looked at Lu Qingshan timidly, but he gave me a soothing look. It's okay, let him come up. No need to stop him. Before I finished speaking, Fu Zichuan rushed in, looking anxious and angry. I really didn't expect that he would catch up with me after I arrived in Shanghai. As soon as Fuz Huan opened the door, he saw me and walked straight towards me, trying to reach out and hold me. Liu Qingshan stood up and stood in front of me. Fuz Huan didn't even look at him and wanted to walk past him. Mr. Liu, there is no need to care about this matter. This is a matter between me and my woman. If I remember correctly, the one who happily announced the good news on the hot search a few days ago was not Wan, right? The one who received blessings from the whole network at that time was obviously the eldest daughter of the Chu family, Chu Yu. Fuz Chuan looked a little panicked, but still tried to pull me away forcefully. Even if I am engaged, Jiang Qingwan is still my woman. But you brought my woman to such a far place. What bad intentions do you have? Lu Qingshan looked at him slowly, and a feeling of contempt made Fuz Chuan want to rush up and attack. Wan Wan is a living person with her own thoughts. She is not your pet. Why do you interfere with her choice? Wan Wan has clearly said that she has nothing to do with you. After hearing these words, Fuz Chuan's eyes changed, and he was contemptuous and mocking. Wan Wan you mentioned has been following me since I was a student. I don't know if Mr. Liu has a special fetish. He just likes this. Fuz Chuan didn't finish his words. Lu Qingshan rushed up and slapped him directly. His eyes were dangerous and he held Fuz Chuan's throat tightly. Do you dare to say it again? No wonder Wan Wan is determined to leave you. Lu Qingshan laughed mockingly. I watched worriedly on the side, fearing that Lu Qingshan would accidentally lock Fuz Chuan's throat. Forget it, I'll handle it. Let him go and don't let anything happen. I walked between them, gently put down Lu Qingshan's clenched hands, and turned to Fuz Chuan. I have already made it very clear at the time. I, Jiang Qingwan, will never be a third party. We are not the same kind of people at all. It's true that you saved me back then. But are you any different from those people back then? It seems that the so-called prince of the Beijing circle is not a good thing. Fuz Chuan looked gloomy, his eyes flickered several times, and finally he said, nothing, and sat on the ground in silence. After successfully joining a Shanghai music orchestra, I soon had my own solo performance. For this performance, I still chose my father's classic, Sunset Dawn. This piece of music is not simple. It is difficult to express the illusion, decadence of sunset and the hope of dawn. But it happened that because I was in a low period recently, I could better understand my father's state of mind when he composed the music. When the song ended, the whole audience applauded and cheered. But I saw a familiar person in the VIP seats below. Recently, I have been living alone in Shanghai, and Lu Qingshan has been traveling around the world for business. After the performance, I was backstage directing the staff to move the orchestra's guzheng off the stage. Chu Yu stood in front of me, looking down at me with the arrogant temperament of a young lady. You are the one who made my brother Chuan fall in love with you? Now it's all right. Are you satisfied? Can you marry into a wealthy family? I've been waiting for him for almost 10 years, and I can accept if he has other girls out there, but he actually settled down for you alone. In my confused eyes, she stared at me like an enemy, like in a small town girl like you with no background, be easily favored by two heirs. I looked at her with a look of confusion. Are the brain circuits of young ladies always so different from others? First of all, I didn't pester Fuz Chuan. It was him who pestered me and caused this. I lost my good job. Secondly, I didn't give Fuz Chuan any hope. I, Zhang Qingwan, have always been upright. Finally, what happened between me and Lu Qingshan has nothing to do with you. When you heard my last sentence, she laughed softly as if she heard a joke. Do you think that if the Fu family doesn't accept you, the Liu family, who is at the same level as them, will accept you? She smiled at me as if she was gloating. I heard that Mrs. Liu is in contact with Shen Maian, the youngest daughter of the Shen family, and will be engaged soon. Xu Yu saw that my expression did not change, and added very considerately, Lu Qingshan himself knew about this matter, and he did not raise any objections. After she finished speaking, she walked away arrogantly, leaving me alone in the same place, thinking about something. Although I had some doubts in my heart, I still chose to believe Lu Qingshan. After all, he was on a business trip abroad recently, and he might not have time to take care of these things. I also asked him, but from his tone, it seemed that he didn't know about this matter, so I didn't investigate it. But after the rehearsal that day, an uninvited guest came to my lounge. "Excuse me, who are you?" I asked in confusion. The lady opposite, who was dressed in luxurious clothes, was also a typical person who looked down on others. As soon as she came in, she looked around with disdain, looking down on me. "Are you the Zhang Qinghua? The one who made the two heirs of the Beijing circle change their gender for you? I am Lu Qingshan's mother. It was because of you that Lu Qingshan disobeyed his family, did you know? For you, Qingshan firmly rejected the marriage of the Shen family, and even used some small tricks to send Shen Haiyan to study abroad. You must not know about this. We can see that this child is sincere, and we as parents can't say much. You also know that Qingshan is the only child in our family. If you want to marry him, we still hope that Miss Zhang can give up her work in the orchestra, and it is best to recuperate and give birth to an heir as soon as possible." Her tone was gentle, but I had guessed what she was going to say. I have to say that she is really wise. I have to admit that she succeeded making me give up in this way. Music is the only thing I can't give up in my life, although I really love him a little. Miss Zhang, please think about it. I still have a piece of advice for you. You can't have it all right, Mrs. Louis left after she finished speaking, leaving me alone to ponder. I admit that I did a lot of despicable thoughts to get close to him at that time, but in the following interactions, I was sincere and treated him very seriously. There is no performance tonight. I sat blankly at a street food stall, thinking about future arrangements. I didn't expect to see Fu's Achuan again in such a scene. He no longer had the high spirits at beginning and seemed decadent and negative. "Is there really no possibility for us?" He stared at me, still asking without giving up. His burning gaze seemed to have returned to the time when he was in school, and his face gradually overlapped with the boy who rescued me from a group of rich second generations. "I really understand now, so do we still have a chance? I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. It was you who saved me from the nightmare and pulled me back from the brink of death. I am really grateful to you. But I also said that I have my bottom line. I never accept any betrayal or any third-party behavior. We no longer have any possibility." Fu's Achu on left silently with a hurt face. I will always remember the big boy who said righteously, "Are you ashamed to bully a little girl?" But I also remember the man who wanted me to be his little bird as a matter of course. People always have to look forward. I, Zhang Qingwan, only do what I think is right in this life and never regret it. He will always find me in the big city. What I need to do is not to entangle and disappoint him. I specially chose a day when he went on a business trip abroad to leave, and the day I left happened to be half a year. I handed a letter to his assistant and told him to show it to him after he came back. I turned around and took the high-speed train back to my hometown. After many twists and turns, I also returned to the starting point, back to the small town. The children here have not been exposed to so many emerging arts, so I feel at ease staying here, teaching these children to learn music and composing some music myself. Now I finally understand why my father took root here. Nature and simplicity are also the source of inspiration. In the life in the countryside, I have a lot of ideas and wrote many works, and even many orchestras that were rejected at that time paid a lot of money to include them. But I never heard from him again. The famous man seemed to have retreated behind the scenes. This day, I was discussing the details of teaching with Xiaowen, the school's assistant teacher, when a girl suddenly ran up and said, "Teacher, there is a very handsome guy at the door who wants to find you." I was puzzled, and I went downstairs and saw that familiar face. I ran so far away, but he could find it. I already knew everything about my mother. You ran so far and made me look for you so hard. I hid for so long and thought I had forgotten everything, but it was still engraved in my bones. Liu Qingshan rushed up and hugged me tightly. I reached out and hugged him. I can't leave here for the time being. I have to hold on until a batch of children graduate. Liu Qingshan gently let me go and stared at my face seriously. I'm not the kind of person who will imprison you. Do whatever you want to do seriously, and I will silently protect you behind your back. After hearing these words, I, who had persisted in not crying for a whole year in the remote village, suddenly couldn't help but shed tears. He hugged me gently, and I asked him with tears in my eyes, "Why did you come just now? Not in the future. I will definitely not leave you alone."